Victorian London. When we think of it, we imagine sprawling maze-like streets and sinister gaslit lanes where thieves and rogues lurked in every shadow, always ready to pounce on the unwary gentleman or lady who dared to venture out after dark. It was a fascinating, yet dangerous place, where grand advancements in technology and society were often overshadowed by dark, unsettling legends. The bringing together of so many people into one city, an unprecedented migration from the country to the city at the time, created a kind of barely contained ordered chaos, where poverty, desperation, and disconnection from the old ways of life often led to shocking and horrifying consequences. Jack the Ripper is the most famous example of the dangers Victorian Londoners needed to steer clear of. But, as it turns out, the Ripper just might have been the least of their worries. When we scour the history books of London, we find that Victorian London, in fact, was seemingly packed with supernatural creatures. An almost endless supply of them, all of them well documented by the testimony of witnesses. Here are just a few of the terrifying beasties that the unfortunate Londoner of the Victorian era had to try their best to dodge, as if the Ripper wasn't enough. 1. Spring-heeled Jack. Spring-heeled Jack was a supernatural figure that first emerged in the early 19th century. Described as a tall, thin man with a diabolical appearance, he had red, glowing eyes and could breathe blue flames. Most terrifyingly, he possessed incredible agility, able to leap over high walls and rooftops with ease. Accounts. The first major sighting was in 1837 when Mary Stevens, a servant girl, claimed that a strange figure attacked her on a London street. The assailant reportedly grabbed her with his icy claws and kissed her face, only to flee when she screamed. A few days later, a similar figure was seen leaping in front of a carriage, causing the coachman to lose control and crash. Witnesses claimed he then escaped by jumping over a 9-foot wall. Sightings continued throughout the century, with reports of Spring-heeled Jack attacking individuals across London and even other parts of England. His elusive nature and supernatural abilities made him a figure of fear and fascination. The legend of Spring-heeled Jack contributed to the fear of the unknown and the supernatural in Victorian society. Despite various theories about his true identity, from a practical joker to an otherworldly being, the mystery remained unsolved. 2. The Beast of Hackney Marshes. The Beast of Hackney Marshes is an urban legend involving a mysterious creature said to inhabit the marshlands in East London. Sightings of the beast were reported sporadically throughout the Victorian era. Accounts. The first recorded sighting was in the early 1800s when a group of children claimed to have seen a large, hairy creature lurking near the marshes. They described it as being as tall as a man but covered in fur and moving with an animalistic gait. In the mid-19th century, a local shepherd reported that several of his sheep had been killed and mutilated in a manner that suggested a large predator. He claimed to have seen a shadowy figure fleeing the scene. The legend gained traction when, in the 1870s, workers constructing new housing developments in the area reported seeing a similar creature. The beast was said to have glowing eyes and emitted a terrifying howl. The Beast of Hackney Marshes became a symbol of the unknown lurking on the outskirts of the rapidly expanding city. The legend highlighted fears of the wild and untamed areas of London and the creatures that might inhabit them. 3. The Devil in Tottenham. In 1808, reports emerged of a bizarre creature terrorizing the village of Tottenham in North London. Described as a devil or goblin, it was said to have horns, wings, and a tail, and it emitted a foul odor. Accounts. Witnesses claimed to have seen the creature lurking in the shadows, scaring livestock and causing general panic among the villagers. The local church was said to have been unable to exorcise the creature, leading to rumors that it was a demonic entity. The sightings attracted widespread attention, with newspapers reporting on the phenomenon and speculating on the nature of the creature. The legend of the devil in Tottenham tapped into fears of the supernatural and fueled speculation about the existence of demons and otherworldly beings. While the veracity of the reports is debated, they contributed to the folklore of Victorian London. 4. The Bermondsey Horror. In the mid-19th century, the Bermondsey area of London was reportedly haunted by a terrifying creature known as the Bermondsey Horror. Descriptions varied, with some claiming it was a monstrous dog-like creature while others described it as a spectral figure. Accounts. Witnesses reported encountering the creature in dark alleys and abandoned buildings, where it would materialize suddenly and then vanish without a trace. Some claimed to have been chased or attacked by the creature, while others reported feeling a sense of overwhelming dread in its presence. The sightings sparked fear and hysteria in the neighborhood, with residents afraid to venture out after dark for fear of encountering the Bermondsey Horror. The legend of the Bermondsey Horror tapped into the Victorian fascination with the supernatural and the unknown. It became a cautionary tale about the dangers lurking in the city's darker corners, adding to the atmosphere of mystery and fear. 5. The Thames River Serpent. If the monster-weary Londoner wanted to escape the relentless harassment of beasts like the three we've already examined, there was no use trying to escape to the river. As, throughout the 19th century, there were numerous reports of a large serpent-like creature lurking in the River Thames. Descriptions varied, with some likening it to a sea serpent and others to a giant eel or snake. Accounts. Witnesses claimed to have seen the creature swimming in the murky waters of the Thames, sometimes emerging briefly before disappearing beneath the surface. Reports of the Thames River Serpent were often accompanied by sightings of strange ripples or disturbances in the water, leading some to speculate that it was a prehistoric creature or a surviving remnant of a bygone age. Despite efforts to capture or photograph the creature, no conclusive evidence was ever obtained, leaving its existence shrouded in mystery. The legend of the Thames River Serpent added an element of danger and mystery to London's iconic river. It captured the public's imagination and sparked debates about the existence of unknown creatures lurking in the city's waterways. So, there you have it. For the Victorians, whether they were in the Rippers area of Whitechapel, in Tottenham, Hackney, Bermondsey, or anywhere along the Thames for that matter. Heck, let's just say if they were anywhere near London, it seems there was always a beastie of some sort, just around the corner, besides the usual human beasts, that is. And keep in mind, these were just 5 of the great many reported creatures which the savvy Victorian lady or gentleman needed to sidestep, keeping an eye open at all times, if they wanted to take the dog out for a stroll around Buckingham Palace to do its late-night business. But, is there any truth to any of this? Well, of course, it's debatable, but the fact remains that each of the testimonies we mentioned here was recorded in the history books of the great city of London. Taking advantage of the great strides in technology and organization, Victorian records were reliable, meticulous, and so trustworthy as a historical record. So, at the very least, we can say, without question, these things were reported as truth by somebody. In fact, each of them had multiple witnesses, lending even greater credibility to them. Therefore, perhaps we can at least say their veracity is undetermined. No one can really know for sure. We can only hope, though, that maybe in the deadly backdrop of London's beast-infested night, that maybe, just maybe, Jack the Ripper's merciless reign of terror might have actually come to an end when he foolishly stepped into the Hackney Marsh one night, unwittingly arousing the wrath of the dreaded Hackney Marsh beast. That just about wraps up tonight's tale from Lorehound. Follow us as we sniff out more of history's most interesting stories.
As the hound dog entered the dimly lit library, he sensed an aura of mystery surrounding the ancient scrolls. The dusty shelves towered above him as he sniffed his way through the labyrinth of books. Suddenly, he picked up a scent and followed it to a secluded corner. With bated breath, he approached the shelf and pawed at the book, revealing the hidden scroll. As he rolled it out, he knew he had discovered a treasure worth protecting at all costs.